Here we go. In Focus, episode 2, Kimiesha Jones. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's especially good to see you like this. The fact that you and I are both creators and have the opportunity and the resources to put on things like this is very, very nice, and I don't take it for granted. And I especially don't take for granted what you do, who you are, and your expertise in all that you are. So let's go ahead and kick it all the way back. Where did you grow up?
I grew up, okay, so this is like a little bit of a mix. I was born in New Jersey. I was born in Paterson, New Jersey. Lived there for the first 8 years of my life. Then we moved to Silver Spring, Maryland.
What was that like?
So, to be honest, I didn't want to move. I did not want to move. I was like, this is stupid. All of my friends at the time were my cousins. All my cousins are here. Why are we leaving? My parents had just gotten married at the time, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna start a new life in Maryland." So we left. It was me, my mom and dad, and my grandmother that left. She got her own apartment. We got our own apartment, and it was hard for the first couple years. It was difficult because our lives were in New Jersey. So, whenever you move someplace new, it's obviously like hard to find a job and hard to like do stuff. So it was a little difficult, and I'm starting a new school, all of that kind of thing. So it was a little difficult for everybody. Yeah.
What types of things did you gravitate towards, uh, gravitate towards as a kid?
I gravitated towards video games. I love video games like that. Aside from music, because I know that's why we're here, but I really, really enjoy video games. My dad brought me a PlayStation 2. I don't know how old I was, but whenever the PlayStation 2 came out, that's when I got it. And that I could play video games still for hours. So yeah.
So the video games kind of ease the burden of the move a bit.
Kind of. I think by then, I don't think I had my PlayStation 2 anymore. What did kind of like help me out a little bit was my mom actually bought me a dog. And like this was my first dog because we had cats growing up. So we were a cat family, but my mom bought me a dog, and that was like my baby. That was my baby. But then we ended up moving again, and we couldn't take him to where we were moving, so we had to give him away.
Tell me about your dog.
Okay, his name was Miko. Pretty sure he's passed on now because it's been a long time. But he was all over the place. Just he we got him like literally as a baby. He was a Pomeranian, much like my parents' dog now. He's Marley, but his name was Miko. But yeah, he was all over the place. He would just follow me everywhere. He is so funny. He has gotten out so many times, like where he's like been lost in the neighborhood and stuff like that. But we always got him back, and it was the grace of God that he found his way back home because he was a very expensive dog. He was a purebred Pomeranian, and those dogs go for a lot of money. So I was like, when people kept bringing him back, I was like, "You're supposed to be here," because if it was me, I probably would have took you. But yeah,
That's funny. I probably would have took the dog too.
yeah, probably
Yeah.
because them dogs go for like 4K or something like that. So
As a child, you gravitated towards video games. What path did you think you were going to be on growing up?
I always knew it was going to be music. I didn't know that it was going to be to this, like in this capacity. I thought I was going to be a drummer. I didn't think that I was going to be a vocalist. I didn't think that I was going to be singing and doing all of that kind of stuff. But I grew up playing drums in church. I was that annoying kid that was next to the drum set waiting for service to be over so that you can get on the drum set. And it's like a whole line of kids. My dad was a minister of music at most of the churches that I was at. So I always had like first dibs. And because I could play a little bit, God forbid the drummer didn't show up, I would get on and be off beat and everything and playing. He's like, "Come on, keep the beat." And I'm just like, "I am very new to this and I'm a child. I am not employed to work here, but it's a few times that happened." I think I was like, I had to be like 5 or 6 when that happened, where I had to like jump on the drum set because the drummer didn't show up that Sunday or something like that, or he was late. So,
So it sounds like a lot of your musical beginnings began in and around the church.
oh yeah, for sure.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so like I said, my dad is a minister of music, so I really ain't had no choice to go to church. We just that's what we did. But on the other hand, my mom didn't really do church a lot. She grew up in church as well, but she wasn't like doing praise and worship and stuff like that. She was doing a lot more on the secular side. So singing background for artists, being an artist herself, that kind of thing. So I had music coming from both ends, but when it came to church, my dad directed the choirs. And if there was a youth choir, guess who was the first one that had to sign up? Me. So I was in the youth choir and I knew parts and all of that kind of stuff, like from an early age. And it just was, I had it, you know? That's not something I had to necessarily learn. It could have been, the skill of it could be cultivated, of course. But I was born with the ability to just know parts, to know where things go and stuff like that. Know when a part is off or in the wrong key, stuff like that. That's just something that comes natural to me. So I'm an alto for y'all who understand what the parts are. I was an alto, and yeah, I had a few solos that were against my will, and that kind of pushed me into like doing it. I still didn't want to do that as a young kid. I was like, I don't care nothing about this vocal stuff. I want to be on the drums. Because I ain't had to say nothing. I had to sing nothing. I just could be on the drums and be out the way. But God had other plans.
God had other plans.
Yeah.
Speaking of other plans, it sounds like the influence of your elders, your parents, mentors played a pretty significant role in the direction you were going. How would you describe that mentorship growing up?
I would say my dad wanted me to do what he did. So it was, I wouldn't say that it was so much, he didn't not like support me or anything, but it was like he wanted me to play the keyboard because he played the keyboard. My mom wants me to sing because she sings. But how how that mentorship helped was I did get drum lessons. My dad went and got me drum lessons because I said that that's something I wanted to do. So he really kind of pushed me to like, okay, if you want to do this, learn correctly how to do it. In a sense, I wish that I had continued, but my drum teacher, we went up there one day and he no longer was employed. So then that was it. Like we had kind of just ended it there, but I did get a lot of good things from that. And just being in church period, like a fast forwarding to my time because this was in New Jersey, but fast forwarding to my time in Maryland, another mentor, big mentor that I had was the musical director at the church that I was attending. He was a huge influence on who I am today. Not because he's telling me like do this or do that. It was just he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. And I was like, oh my God, why you want me to lead? What? Why you want me to do this? Why you want me to do that? And I developed a love for it. So I started to enjoy it and I was really good at praise and worship and really good at talking to people and getting people involved and stuff like that. So I would say that church period, like as a whole, with my parents involved, with other mentors, has shaped me into who I am.
What was church like? Like, what was your first? Do you remember your first experience in church, just in general?
I don't remember my first experience because like I literally grew up there. So like my dad was telling me we used to bring you in the carrier to rehearsal. Like that's how it was. But I do remember my first time at the church I grew up in. That was a crazy experience. So I at the time we were having church in a school because we didn't have a building yet. So my first Sunday there, I had never seen anything so organized in my life. Because, church, I grew up Baptist. So Baptist is like, okay, now somebody gonna do scripture reading. It's just, I was just like, we didn't plan this? Like, and then, like, it's a lot less organized. I'm not going to, go on them or nothing, but I'm just saying it's a lot less organized. And then, we started going to an AME church, the AME church that I was at. It was so much, it was structured. I was like the choir like was such a wow, because everybody it sounded so good. It sounded great. And there was a level of excellence, a level of expectation, a level of, professionalism. And I know that like some people are like, oh, well, it's church, it's not a production. But at the same time, I believe it's both. That might be controversial, but I really think that it's distracting when you don't give your best, when you don't put your best foot forward, when the sound is wrong, when people are off, when people are not ready to do this. That's when you have a distraction and you can't, you know, it's an issue.
So structure is really important to you, it seems.
Yes, 100%. Oh my goodness, yes.
Tell me about the moments, some of the first moments you realized, you know what, there's a better way to do this, and we should just with anything.
I would say, ooh, that's a good question. When I started to get jobs as a worship leader and I started to see how long service was in some of the places I was working, I was like, we don't need to do 3 songs. We don't need to do 4 or 5 songs. We can't handle that, especially because we're building a team. I'm responsible. Let me say that. Like, because people be like, oh yeah, we're building. I'm like, no, you want me. That's why you called me to build this, and you're not helping me. You're not giving any extra input, nothing like that. You called me. You want me to build what you currently have and build on it. So I'm like, hey, but there's no reason we need to be doing 4 or 5 songs. Absolutely no reason, especially after COVID. You know, after COVID, we have to be efficient with things because another thing as well, people don't understand you are, and people hate to say this when it comes to like church and stuff like that, you're competing with everybody on the internet for their attention. And if you want people to watch what you have going on or be able to resonate with your church versus somebody else's just because it's flashy. Because I don't believe in all of that, nightclub church either. I think that, you know, you just have to do things in decency and in order. Like you just have to make sure that stuff is right so that the Holy Spirit can move, you know? So if that answers your question.
I think it does. Nightclub church.
Yeah.
Tell me about what is nightclub church?
Nightclub church is when the lights are off, we got smoke machines, we got the lasers going all over. I'm like, what did I walk into? There's just it's loud. Like if I need earplugs to be here, I don't think I want to be here. Like is this the club or is this church? And it's kind of it's distracting. Like I said before, decency and order. Like they understand the production side of things, which is wonderful because things move quickly. You have like everything is set, so you're like, okay, this person's going on next. This person's going on next. This is going. Somebody's about to pray. All of that kind of stuff, right? But when it becomes a full blown production, we lose God. We lose the Holy Spirit. We lose community in a sense. Like I don't think that because something is a mega church, they don't have community. I think that when you go into it being a production is when you lose community. because I've attended a mega church, and it wasn't a mega church when it started. We were small. We started small. Now it's a huge church with people from all over the world watching. But the reason that they were able to grow that is because there was a community aspect to it that's still there. So, yeah.
Tell me about your first steps as an artist.
Okay.
We've got you as singer, but now the artist, Kamisha.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I've been writing songs since I was about 13 years old. I was writing music, and I started off on a software called Audacity because it was free, and I had a Toshiba laptop. They don't even make those anymore, but I feel so old saying that. But yeah, they had a Toshiba. I had a Toshiba laptop. Audacity was my DAW, my digital audio workstation, if that's what y'all need to know. And I started off doing Christian rap, or just rap period, because I wasn't saved yet. So I started doing rap. I was just like, because hey, I can. Why not? I knew people in my school. We were in middle school, just the schoolhouse kind of rapping with the people doing the thing on the table kind of thing. We would do that and make songs, send files back and forth that were not mixed at all, sounded like absolute trash. But we was doing our thing. We had fun doing it. So I started off doing that, and then once the Lord saved my life at 14 years old, I decided to do music for Him. So I was like, okay, I can take these songs with these. Well, I'm gonna start here. Let me backtrack. Once I got saved, I started to understand that the lyrics that I'm singing, like the lyrics that I'm hearing on the radio, like I'm singing along to, the Young Money and the Drake and all of that kind of stuff, because that was popular at the time. I'm like, man, they're like degrading women, we're cussing, we're doing all this other stuff, and I'm new to the faith. So when you're new to the faith, you're like, oh my goodness, everything has to be clean and in order and wonderful. So we have to fix this. So I decided to take songs that were secular and flip them into gospel songs. So I've done what's the name of that song? I've done Love on Top. I've done what's the name of that daggone song? I try to sabotage my love, yeah. I only know my version. I forgot the real one. But Sabotage by Lloyd, freaking mad at me, too much. I've done that one. I've done, and I don't remember any of the lyrics to these things, so bear with me. If you can find them on the internet and scour them, good luck, because one or two is still in the land. But my point is, I saw there was an issue. I started doing that because I was like, I want to really, really make a difference with that. My church saw me doing these things, and they were like, yeah, well, they started a youth service and allowed me to perform these things with the tracks and all of that. So I really, really appreciate my church for seeing my gift, cultivating it, and supporting me. So yeah.
So, as an artist in your beginning stages, you hit the secular hip hop. He's a whole rapper,
Yeah.
hot bars.
Whole rapper.
Then we're going into covers, gospel covers of same popular music, hip hop, R&B stuff on the radio. Tell me about which genre really hits home for you most as an artist.
I would say gospel. Gospel music is so important to me. I don't like when people play with it. We're in a time now where we have AI artists or people pretending to do this. Like, I don't think it needs to be ran through AI. I don't think that. I also don't think that you need to just write anything. If it's gospel music, it should have the gospel in it. the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Bible in it. And that was something that I've always been very, very adamant about. All of my rap songs have had biblical reference in them. Now, I was young, so was it always in context? Absolutely not. But as I've grown older and become better at songwriting and stuff like that, that's where I only pull from the Bible. I only pull from experience in life in the Bible. I think now we just kind of take from life and experience, and it's just sad. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm a filthy rag, and I'm like, we also have the victory though. Like, I understand that we're not worthy, but we also have the victory, and I wish I would hear more songs about us having the victory and thanking God for what He's done. Piggybacking off of that, because that's where I started. When I finally started to embrace being a vocalist, I was singing background for a friend of mine at the time, and we got to the church. She had all these like musician friends or whatever in the area, and I met the piano player, and the piano player was an aspiring producer. So we started, we exchanged numbers, started like getting ideas and stuff going, and he helped me create my first single called "You Are." It's not out right now, so you can't find it nowhere. Might catch me in my live singing it, and it might make another appearance. But that was really what started it all for me. That was like my first record to come out that was like mine on like streaming platforms and all of that kind of stuff.
Tell me about your career once you hit adulthood.
Once I hit adulthood, um, I kind of got discouraged because everybody thinks they're gonna be discovered when they're 15. I'm like, oh my goodness, like all I need is for Nicki Minaj to see me. Mind you, I had like really good numbers on YouTube at the time because that's back when YouTube was chronological. So I had good numbers on YouTube. I don't have that account anymore. So I like got rid of it because I had like a rapper name, all of that, and I wanted it to like be gone, because I was trying to turn over a new leaf of me being the artist Kimiesha using my real name versus me using my rap name. So
What was that rap name?
Kimmy D. Kimmy D.
Give me D indeed. So talk to me about some obstacles you've had to overcome in regards to the professional side of being an artist.
The obstacles I've had to overcome, I would say not everybody's my like your friend. And I had to realize that even in like doing gospel music, even in doing like Christian content and all of that kind of stuff, everybody's not your friend, and sometimes people are just in it for their personal gain or to use you, you know? And that was hurtful in the beginning. I didn't know why. I'm like, we're supposed to be doing like God's work. But that's not how everybody looks at it.
What types of interactions were you run into when that made you realize, oh, not everybody's in it for the same thing as me?
I would say people were rude to other people, and I would see it. People when it came time for them, like they needed help. Hey, I need you to sing background. Hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need you to come to do this at this church, whatever. I would go because I'm like, oh sure, like I got you. Let's do it. But when it came time my turn to have help or to have any kind of push or anything like that that I needed, nowhere to be found. No kind of help, no support, that kind of thing.
Tell me about a win.
A win.
Tell me about a win.
Okay, so in 2018, really, I would say 2017 is when this started. In 2017, I did a project called Halal Africa. It's under my name, Kimiesha Dean, my maiden name. So if you want to go check that project out, it's wonderful. I had an amazing time doing it. But I was doing a project called Halal Africa, and the producer of that project, I think he was like the head musician, the MD of that whole live recording that we did. I ended up talking to him, and he was like, we should do something." So I had a song that I had written, and the producer at the time was giving me the runaround. "Oh, I got you. We gonna get it." Months and months have went by, and this song is just sitting on my computer. And I was like, you know what? Let's just work on it with this guy. So I gave him. I was like, hey, like somebody else produced it. He was like, don't worry about that. I'm gonna make this a new thing. He ended up doing like a rough production thing of it. I loved it. Everything fit. The background vocalist that I was working with on the live recording actually did the background vocals and arranged the background vocals for the song. And we did great work on that song. It took a good year to really get it done because it was a lot of money. And but the payoff was great. It went to Billboard in its first week. It was number 62 on the Christian download charts, and I'm very proud of it. It's called Thank You.
Thank you. Thank you. What stands out most about that song to you?
I would say as much of a win as it is, how I felt afterwards stands out most to me about that song. I felt like I did it all for nothing because I didn't feel like anybody was listening. I didn't feel like anybody cared. And I felt like I spent all that money for no reason. And I know I made the song for God. It was thank you, Lord. But as a musician, I think we all get in the way of, oh my goodness, I make music for me. You make music so people can freaking listen to it. Like, stop. Even as like Christian artists, we freaking, oh yeah, like I make this for God. And because you can just make music in your bedroom and close the door and we don't ever have to hear it if that was the case. So don't lie. Two things can be true. You made the music with biblical content to encourage other people. I make my music to encourage other people in the Lord. I live my life for God. My music is to encourage other people. So I kind of felt discouraged. I was like, oh my goodness, like nobody's listening. And then I got a text message like, hey, your song's on the Billboard charts, right? It's like, huh? So, but that still stands out to me because it was a rough time for me.
Would you say that was one of the first times you experienced something like that? Being, man, I put so much of myself into this and I thought I was going to get something else. Like I had an expectation, but then reality was looking different.
It wasn't the first time excuse me, I had done a single between You Are, my first single, and Thank You, Lord, which is now Thank You on all platforms. I had a song called I Win that I did with that same producer that I worked with on You Are. And I put in time, I put in work, I paid for studio sessions, I paid all the musicians, I paid the production, I paid everything, mixing, you name it. And it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. It actually didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And I had some people be on the song, but then they wanted their name taken off the song. And I'm just like, why would you even offer to be a part of this if you didn't want your name on it? Because that wasn't the agreement, So that we had some problems with that. And yeah, that was another piece that made me feel discouraged. I'm just like, what's the deal? Y'all heard the record in the studio. Yeah, like you know what it sounds like. You was, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Oh, we don't want to be a part of it anymore. So
what would you tell another artist, maybe somebody just beginning or somebody who, maybe they've been doing this for a while, but they still don't know how to tackle that type of interaction with their peers and other people? Like, what would you tell somebody who is working with people or partnering on projects and whatnot, and then everything's cool, but then when it's public, I don't want to be a part of it?
I would say get everything in writing. Get everything in writing. At the time, I did not know the business. I was very young and very naive. I'm like, oh my goodness, they want to do it because my producer at the time had the relationship with the choir that was on the song, and their person was like, hey, or their leader was like, yeah, no. But he pulled a favor. Even when pulling favors, get it in writing. Learn the business, because it wouldn't have been a problem had there been a work for hire signed. If there was a work for hire situation, you don't have to be a featured artist on the record, and you can just we can use your vocals. But if there's not, and we had the conversation of it being a feature, then that's different. And I didn't know that.
Get the paperwork right.
Yeah.
Boys down to getting that paperwork right. What do you want people to take away from your style of music? You've got songs, Thank You Lord, you've got Wait for You, you've got a bunch of other songs that we're about to get into as well. And all of them sound uniquely different, if that makes sense. When I hear those songs, when listeners hear your music, they certainly hear this is a Kimiesha Jones record, but all of them kind of take on their own personality, their own life. What would you want people to understand about your style?
I would say that my style is literally, let me see. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Um Ask it one more time.
What do you want people to take away from your style? Like, all your songs sound unique in their own regard, but they also sound different in very like complementary ways. Like you've got traditional gospel sounding songs, and you've got more secular R&B type songs, and a lot more in between.
When people hear me, I want them to take away that, like, there's God is in this, no matter what genre it is, because everything that I'm writing, everything that I plan to put out into the world, it is glorifying God by not being about anything insane, like any kind of booty shaking and all of the foolishness that we hear in mainstream music. I want people to take away like, oh, like this sounds like what I hear in my Spotify playlist, but I can listen to this because the content is not detrimental to society. So that's something I want people to like. I don't want you, because one thing that's so noticeable is, oh man, this is a great song, and you hear it and you're like, oh, it's like so many cuss words in it. Like there's so like I take my vocabulary seriously, like when writing. Like I really think that cussing is a cop out. Like you use your imagination, use your creativity. Like not F this, F that. Like bro, that's so easy. Let's push for it.
This is actually a perfect segue. So I want to talk about R&B. You and I, we've had this conversation many times. Husband and wife, we
Yeah.
have these moments.
Go upstairs. Go upstairs now.
Go upstairs, buddy. The content in modern R&B is very I'm gonna just keep it very plural, just negative.
Yeah.
it's very negative. It's very like problem centric. Either I'm a problem or they're a problem or it's a problem, but there's something that's problematic about modern R&B music. What's your take on modern R&B music?
Well, it's always been problematic. I think people forget that R&B stands for rhythm and blues, sadness. Life is hard. This relationship is harder. That kind of thing. Like blues is the center of what R&B is. So that kind of thing. But also when we do make music that is supposed to be loving and stuff like that, it's usually about sex. And I don't think that's right either because we can't have the good without the bad, right? We can't have the bad without the good. But I just don't see enough people making music that is relationship positive. There's not enough music about marriage and love and this the right one, the relationship piece, the marriage piece of it. Because people are just like, oh yeah, like I finally, you know, this even though I'm not treating you know my man, I'm gonna call you my child. Like you are with somebody else. No matter what I do, all I think about is you. Like, sir, ma'am. And even going to current music, what's another one?
Um, I mean, you got songs like To the Left. What's that song? Irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable. Even though it's one of the best songs ever written,
Great song.
it's amazing.
Nobody ever said they weren't great songs.
Yeah.
It's just the content of them.
Yeah.
The overwhelming
Yeah.
majority of the content.
Cheating is like the main topic. And you can write a song about heartbreak without it having to be about cheating. And I know this because I've done it. I've done it. Throwback Kind of Love out right now. But yeah, I just think that there like it's negativity is such an easy way out. Such an easy way. We have to push for something else. And mind you, I love these songs. Like I'll sit here, sing them, all of that kind of stuff, but sometimes you gotta turn that negativity off. And I would like to give people that option. That's why I make the music that I make. You can stay in the same genre and still listen to something that is not going to make you feel like, dang, man. Yeah, I don't even like him. Like, no, go work it out. So,
Go work it out.
yeah.
That is excellent. Um, what's R&B missing?
In this day and age, R&B is missing gospel. R&B is missing gospel. If you look back, everybody grew up in church. Faith Evans, Whitney Houston, so many other people I can't think of right now, but people grew up in church. That's why we have SWV. Those are gospel runs, gospel tones. That's what it's missing because everybody sounds like this, and we're just singing, but we're not really singing. And we're just gonna whisper, and that's a problem for me because I have a big voice. And I'll use my big voice, and oh, no, nobody will hear all them runs. They do. They do. They really do because I would love to hear that over. And this is me talking as a listener. You know, I would much rather listen to Faith Evans and Kelly Price and all of these different people than, the whisper singing. I'm not going to say no names because I don't want to freaking shade nobody. But if the boot fits. Anyway, yeah. Like, I really think it's just missing gospel. Gospel is embedded in everything, in my opinion.
Right. And when you say gospel, it's not necessarily just the content of it, like honor and worship on the Jesus and God and
Yeah.
whatnot, but more so the technicality, the skill sounding of it.
Yeah. I would say the vocal control, the tone, the placement of different runs and different ad libs and stuff like that. You learn that stuff in gospel music. I say this every time when people ask me, how do I become a better vocalist? How do I become a better singer? Go to church, join the choir. Even if you never lead a song in your life, learning harmony will make you a better singer.
That's a great topic, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How would you tell somebody who's beginning their artist journey? Like, somebody wakes up, hey, you know what? I think I am supposed to be an artist. I've got these songs, I've got these vocalizations I want to do. I need to spread my art with the world. Where would you point them to start?
Well, I can tell you where not to start. Okay? Don't go to Suno. Don't go to AI. Don't do that. Because you're only putting handcuffs on yourself before you even get to move your hand. Like, that's the easy way out that I feel like everybody is taking, but you still have to know how to do these things. God forbid the site shut down. Or like if there's no other, like, what are y'all gonna do? If you just don't, if the server's down and you don't know how to do anything, you know? So I can tell you, don't go that route. I would say go and learn an instrument. I would say go to church. Go to church. Like, if you're not a person of faith, try Jesus. Try Jesus. But church specifically, even if you just if you really just like I don't want to do that, listen to gospel music. Listen to I would say ooh, Ricky Dillard. Listen to Richard Smallwood. Listen to um the Clark sisters. Like listen to gospel music and some these gospel I'm naming these gospel giants because they do gospel music traditionally even still, you know? And that's helpful for you to learn where stuff is supposed to go. Even listen to JJ Harrison is a great one. All of his music, his choirs, who he chooses to lead things, how they place things is going to be such a help to you as an artist, learning how to sing.
What do you think the biggest difference between a singer and an artist is?
There are a lot of singers in church, and that's why I say this all the time. The best singers are still in somebody's church house, and they will never be the huge artists, but they sing circles around who is in the limelight. I say that all the time, and I know some of them personally. Like, period. That's just what it is. We all do, but that's a big difference. I think that the singers are the they're the ones who just want to sing. They'll sing whatever. They'll sing a cover. They'll do this. They'll do that. They're not so pressed to make their own music. An artist is someone who creates, and we like most artists that I know, including myself. We don't just do our thing. We don't just rap. We don't just sing. We don't just like. I just started my production journey. I do graphic design. I like video games. You know, I like doing little like arranging vocals and harmonies and doing all these different things. And you're a freaking creator in ways like that word artist. We associate it a lot with musicians, but we are what we are. We're artists. That's the difference.
Speaking of art that you've created, you got a few songs out right now.
I do.
Tell me which of your most recent songs. Well, I don't want to ask you which is your favorite because that's like telling you to pick your children. But which one do you think is most representative of who you are right now?
I don't think I've created that song yet, to be honest.
Tell me about that.
I have some great songs, in my opinion. I mean, they're my songs. But I think that these are all pieces of me, but they're not like I haven't peeled back that layer yet. I said earlier I had started in church just doing gospel music. I recently, within the past 2 years, have branched off to do other genres. And that was difficult for me because, my whole life I was told, you gotta do it for God. I'm just like, okay. So you feel weird doing anything other than gospel, and they make the word secular sound like it is you going to hell like today. But that's not, when I say the word secular, I try not to say it in a way that is so like, oh, that's secular music, you know? Because they be, my whole life that's what it's been. But I'm just like, it's just music that's not particularly about God. That doesn't mean it's godless, you know? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Everything belongs to God. Now, if you freaking flipping it and talking about stuff that's specifically against what he wrote in his word for you not to do, then you might have a problem. But if you're just making music and vibing, you cool. Especially if you keep God first in everything you do. So I had to get out of my own head with that. I had to unlearn some things that people were telling me that's not even biblical. You got to do it for God, that kind of thing. But it's crazy because when I first started to try to branch off and do R&B music, I thought I had to be this person that I wasn't. I don't show my body. I don't curse in my music. I don't, I don't do these things, but I thought that that was the only way into that industry, you know? And I was like, this don't even feel right. This is not me. I can still represent God and make the music that God put in my heart. Like, because songs will just come to me. It'll be something that just flows, and that has to be from God. You know?
Songs that came from God. One of them, Throwback Kind of Love.
Yeah.
Tell me about Throwback Kind of Love.
So Throwback Kind of Love came about. I'm working with I collaborated with a friend of mine. His name is Trent Coakley, and we were working on some stuff for Sync. We recently had just reconnected. We both are from church, so we reconnected at a Sync conference that we both went to, and he was like, "Yeah, I got some music. Like this was just sitting there. It's been sitting there. People didn't do nothing with it. Whatever." I'm like, "They doing with this? This is so good." But that's the thing. Like some songs will sit there because they're for you, you know. So went through a list of songs that he sent me, and this particular beat stuck out to me because it was so throwback. And I had just got finished having a conversation with you actually about how, man, like I wish they made music the way they used to. Like they used to care. There were bridges in songs. It wasn't just a freaking loop for 45 minutes. And it had texture. It had something different. It had a fingerprint on it. And I was just like, I really like this. I've never heard anything like it other than stuff from that time period that it's emulating. And I was just like, I really like this. And I think other people will too. So I came up with the chorus first. I need a throwback kind of love. It was actually 90s kind of love first. So I need a 90s kind of love. Oh. So that's what I came up with first. And I was talking to Trent because we're literally trying to make this for movies and sync and all of that kind of stuff. And he was like, I think it would go over better, and we would not like pigeonhole ourselves if we say throwback instead of 90s, because 90s puts us in a specific time period, whereas throwback can really be whenever. So I took that note and then I wrote the rest of the song. And we had a bridge in there. We restructured it because the verse, and when I got the file itself, The verse was first, then it was the chorus, then it was another verse, then it was the bridge. But we restructured the entire thing and made the chorus first. I think that was my idea. I don't know whose idea that was, but we made the chorus first so it could stick. I wanted that to stick, like so, like ooh, I want people to be singing this. And if you hear that chorus first, you're gonna be able to sing it through the rest of the song. You're listening. You're like, oh, I know it already. It's cool. I got it. That's easy. And you're gonna be singing it, and you're gonna leave it on. You know, and that was my goal with this. I want people to enjoy it. It's a record about a heartbreak. I don't disclose what kind of heartbreak because I'm not going through a heartbreak, but it was for a movie. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, somebody got their feelings hurt. Let's throw something together. But obviously I had to pull from my own experiences in my life. I've had friends hurt me, I've had family hurt me. I've had breakups in the past before I met my husband. But yeah, I just had to pull from old experiences and like kind of do that. But I would say it really came from friendships. That's really what that came from. And I think that's why it's so ambiguous. Like I don't say him. I don't say, I don't use pronouns in it or anything like that. Because I also want everybody to be able to sing it. So, yeah.
Your strategy that y'all came up with for this really speaks to the collective expertise
Yeah.
behind this song, keeping it not pronoun specific, keeping it general so that it can be applied to mass media and other places. You kept saying something that I think a lot of people know nothing about. Tell me about sync.
Sync licensing. Okay, so sync is whenever video meets music. The person who owns the music or the person who owns the video has to ask the person who owns the music if they can join them together. Usually you get a fee up front, you can get a fee on the back end, you can get a fee perpetually. It depends on what the deal is, but you are supposed to be paid for that. So that is the goal.
Do you think a lot of artists know about sync placements?
I think now they do. I think now everybody does, but they're not going about it the right way because they won't invest in themselves. There's only so much you can get for free. You have to actually invest in yourself. You have to network. That's your network is your net worth. That's huge. You have to get to know people, like learn what they learn, not to just get information either, because I think people go about that the wrong way. People come to me all the time, how you do this, and I'm just like, hi, how are you? Like, I'm a person, not a freaking machine. I think we really need to get it together because we've been talking to Chat GPT too daggone long. But anyway, yeah, like I think relationship matters. Like getting to know people, getting to know how businesses operate, just based on your friendship with somebody. And you don't got to be, best friends, but just get to know people. I put myself out there, got to know people. I stopped. One thing I think really artists really need to do is get out their own head. You're not special. You're not. I know everybody told you you were special, you was growing up, and you are like the best thing since sliced bread. And there's nothing wrong with confidence, but you are not special. There are so many people that do what you do, but nobody can do it like you. And that's your superpower. But you also, I think people they think that they have to be arrogant. They think they have to come off as, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. Like, no, nobody likes a butthole. Just be kind. You don't have to be nice to everybody, but you can be kind. You can like have some kind of human decency toward people. You haven't arrived because, it's just, and I don't think anybody has. It doesn't matter what level somebody is, if they have Grammys or nothing. It's really just about being kind because it's about those people having relationship as well. The whole industry is built on relationships. The reason that somebody is signed and getting all of these things that you want is because that label has a relationship with those people on your behalf. So, yeah,
Get to know people.
get to know people.
Get to know those people. Talk to your neighbor. Look to your neighbor and say, neighbor. A few more questions and then we will be complete. One of my next questions is, as your husband, live together.
Yeah.
You get to see a lot of the things you do, your inner workings.
Yeah.
You've been making a lot of headway with production. Talk to me about what is bringing you your interest towards production.
I got tired of waiting on people. No shade, but when you have to wait on people to get things done, it's really difficult. When you want to get the idea down, at least in like a 50% finished perform that you can play over and over and be like, oh, I need to fix that. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. In a way that it's not just vocals on a phone, but you can really make it sound like something. That was my motivation behind that. And I was like, I could do that. That don't look that hard. Like it does, but it didn't. Because I'm just like, I really have that thing where you can just look at something like, I could do that. So, and it's not to bring like, oh, this is not difficult. This is like, this takes years and years of skill. And I'm nowhere near being able to produce for another person. Let's start there. I don't want to do that. I am learning to do this so that it can help me be a better songwriter.
Who should I interview next?
I would say you should interview. There's a producer by the name of Ashley. Incredible producer. And I would love to hear her story.
Ashley.
Ashley.
First name so nice, gotta say it twice.
Yep.
All right. Now, final question. I just want you to say your name, what you do, and where you're based.
All right. My name is Kimiesha Jones. I'm a Billboard charting artist, singer, songwriter, and I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia.
Kimiesha Jones, this has been lovely. I appreciate your time opening up our home to do this.
I opened up our home.
And thank you. That's a wrap. Come on in, baby. Let me get some hugs and smooches. Oh, yes. Yeah, put it there. Put it there. Good job. Yep. Get up in there. Lay, baby.
Love you too.
Good job.
That's going to be on camera? Oh, yeah.
Somebody gonna see it.